The desert wind howled across the empty highway as Emily sat silently in the passenger seat, her wrists trembling in her lap. Luke Carter drove with one hand on the wheel, his sharp jaw tight with anger. Dust rolled behind the black truck, like smoke from a wildfire. Emily finally looked at him. "Where are you taking me?" Luke didn't answer. The silence between them felt heavier than the heat outside. She swallowed hard. "You can't just drag me away from town." His eyes stayed locked on the road. "I can." Emily turned toward the window, trying to hide the fear in her face. Endless desert stretched in every direction. No houses, no gas stations, nothing. Just sand, rock, and sky. "You're insane," she whispered. Luke finally glanced at her. "Maybe." The truck hit a rough patch of dirt road. Emily grabbed the dashboard. "You scared?" he asked coldly. "I'm trapped." Luke's grip tightened on the wheel. "You should have thought about that before lying to me." Emily's heart pounded. "I didn't lie. You disappeared for 3 months. I had reasons. Not good enough." The truck suddenly stopped beside an abandoned desert cabin surrounded by dry cactus and rusted fencing. Emily stared at it. "What is this place?" "My father built it years ago." Luke stepped out of the truck. Emily hesitated before opening her door. Heat slammed into her instantly. Luke grabbed a duffel bag from the truck bed. Inside, Emily crossed her arms. "No." Luke walked closer slowly. "You really want to test me out here?" She froze. His dark eyes softened for half a second before hardening again. Inside Emily. Reluctantly, she walked toward the cabin. The old wooden door creaked open. Surprisingly, the inside was clean. A couch, a fireplace, a small kitchen, 1 bedroom. Emily spun around. "You brought me here to punish me?" Luke dropped the bag on the floor. "I brought you here because men are looking for you." Her face lost color instantly. Luke noticed. "So it's true." Emily backed away. "You don't understand." "Then explain." She shook her head desperately. "If they find me, people die." Luke stepped closer. "Who are they?" Emily's breathing became uneven. "You should have left me alone." Luke grabbed her wrist gently, but firmly. Too late for that. Their eyes locked. The anger between them suddenly felt dangerously different. Emily pulled her hand away. "You still hate me?" Luke stared at her for a long moment. "I tried to." Outside, thunder rumbled across the desert sky. Emily looked toward the window nervously. They could already be coming. Luke reached behind his back and placed a loaded revolver on the table. Emily stared at the weapon. "Oh my God!" Luke's voice dropped low. "Nobody touches you while I'm breathing." A flash of lightning illuminated the cabin. And for the first time since he took her, Emily realized something terrifying. The cowboy who once broke her heart was ready to start a war for her. If this love story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more emotional romance stories every week. And tell me in the comments, would you choose a safe life or the person who makes you feel alive? Rain pounded against the cabin roof as Emily stood near the window, watching lightning tear across the desert sky. Luke sat at the wooden table, cleaning his revolver in complete silence. The tension inside the cabin felt unbearable. Emily wrapped her arms around herself. "You shouldn't have brought me here." Luke didn't look up. "And leave you for dead?" "You don't know what these men are capable of." Luke loaded another bullet into the chamber. "Neither do they." Emily stared at him in disbelief. "You think this is some cowboy fight?" Luke finally lifted his eyes. "No, I think you're terrified." She looked away instantly. Luke stood slowly and walked toward her. "You vanished for 3 months." "Closer. You come back bruised." "Closer. And now you're shaking every time headlights pass outside." He stopped inches away from her. "What happened to you?" Emily's eyes watered. "Please stop asking." Luke's jaw tightened. "Did someone hurt you?" She stayed silent. That silence told him everything. Luke stepped back, furious. Not at her, at whoever touched her. Emily noticed a fire in his eyes. "Luke, who was it?" "It doesn't matter." "It matters to me." Her voice cracked. "You can't fix this." Luke slammed his hand against the wall beside her, making her flinch. Instant regret filled his face. Emily stared at him fearfully. Luke stepped back immediately. "I'd never hurt you." The pain in his voice was real. Emily looked down. "I know." Thunder shook the cabin again. Suddenly, headlights appeared outside the window. Both of them froze. Luke instantly grabbed a revolver. "Get down." Emily's heartbeat exploded. "Oh, God!" A truck engine rumbled outside. Luke killed the lantern light, plunging the cabin into darkness. The headlights swept across the windows slowly. Emily crouched behind the couch, breathing hard. "They found me." Luke knelt beside her. "How many?" "I don't know." Truck doors slammed outside. Boots crunched against the sand. Luke peeked through the curtain carefully. 3 men, armed. His expression darkened instantly. Emily grabbed his arm desperately. "Luke, please don't fight them." He looked at her. "You think I'm letting them take you?" Tears filled her eyes. "They'll kill you." Luke gave a small, dangerous smile. "They can try." A loud knock exploded on the cabin door. "Open up," a man shouted. Emily covered her mouth in panic. Luke cocked the revolver calmly. Another bang hit the door harder. "We know she's in there." Luke whispered to Emily. "Bedroom. Lock the door." "I'm not leaving you." His voice turned firm. "Now." Emily hesitated before running toward the bedroom. Luke watched her disappear before turning back toward the front door. Another violent slam shook the cabin. Last warning. Luke slowly opened the door halfway. Rain poured around him as the 3 armed men stared back coldly. One of them smirked. Well, the cowboy finally found her. Luke rested one hand on the revolver at his side. "She's not going anywhere." The tallest man laughed darkly. "You willing to die over that girl?" Luke's eyes became deadly calm. "You have no idea what I'd do for her." The men raised their guns. And Emily watched from the bedroom doorway as the man she once loved prepared to risk everything for her. Rain hammered the desert cabin as the armed men aimed their guns directly at Luke. The tallest man stepped forward slowly. "Move aside, cowboy." Luke didn't move. "You're trespassing." The man smirked. "And you're protecting stolen property." Emily's face turned pale from the bedroom doorway. Luke noticed instantly. His voice dropped dangerously low. "She's not property." One of the men laughed. "She owes a lot of money to dangerous people." Emily shouted suddenly. "I told you I'd get it." Luke glanced back at her. "What money?" The tallest man answered first. $500,000. Luke's eyes narrowed. "You're kidding." Emily shook her head desperately. "I had no choice." The man pointed his gun toward her. She stole from the wrong people. Luke stepped directly in front of Emily. "She's done talking." The tension snapped instantly. The second man suddenly lunged forward, trying to force the door open wider. Luke reacted fast. He slammed the cabin door into the man's face and fired one shot into the ceiling. Boom! Everyone froze. Luke's voice thundered through the storm. "Next one goes through his skull." Rain dripped from his dark hair as he stood there holding the revolver steady. The men exchanged looks. Emily stared at Luke in shock. She had never seen him like this before. Cold, dangerous, unafraid. The tallest man sneered. "You think one gun saves you?" Luke gave a faint smile. "No, but it buys me time." Suddenly, headlights appeared behind the armed men. Another truck approached through the storm. Emily's breathing stopped. "No!" The new truck parked beside the cabin. A man stepped out wearing a black coat and gloves. Calm, elegant, terrifying. Luke immediately sensed a shift in power. Even the armed men straightened nervously. The stranger walked toward the cabin slowly. Emily backed away in horror. "Luke, that's him." Luke kept the gun raised. "Who?" Her voice barely came out. "Victor Kane." Victor stopped a few feet away, rain pouring around him. Then he smiled at Emily. "There you are." Emily looked sick. Victor's eyes moved toward Luke. "And you must be the cowboy causing problems." Luke stayed silent. Victor chuckled softly. "You really want to die for a girl who lied to you?" Luke answered without hesitation. "Yes." Emily looked at him with stunned eyes. Victor noticed immediately. "Oh, this is worse than I thought." He stepped closer. She never told you why she stole from me, did she? Luke glanced at Emily. She shook her head rapidly. Don't listen to him. Victor's smile widened. She stole those files because she was trying to save her little sister. Luke frowned. What files? Victor ignored him. Unfortunately, her sister still belongs to me. Emily broke down instantly. Please, leave her out of this. Luke turned toward Emily slowly. You have a sister? Tears streamed down her face. They'll kill her if I don't get those files back. Luke finally understood. She never ran away from him. She sacrificed everything to protect her family. Victor checked his watch casually. Here's what's going to happen. He pointed toward Emily. She comes with us willingly. Then his cold eyes shifted to Luke. And maybe you survive tonight. Luke tightened his grip on the revolver. Emily stepped forward shakily. I'll go. Luke instantly grabbed her arm. No. Her eyes met his desperately. You can't beat them. Luke leaned closer to her, his voice low and rough. Watch me. Victor sighed. That's unfortunate. Then he nodded once. The armed men raised their rifles, and the desert exploded into gunfire. Gunfire shattered the stormy night as bullets ripped through the cabin walls. Luke grabbed Emily and threw both of them behind the overturned table, which splintered everywhere. Emily screamed, Luke, I'm fine. He fired twice through the broken window. One of the armed men dropped into the sand outside. Victor calmly stepped behind his truck, completely unfazed. The remaining men spread around the cabin. Luke checked his revolver. Almost empty. Emily saw it instantly. We have to run. There's nowhere to run in this desert. Another bullet tore through the wall inches from Emily's head. Luke grabbed her face protectively. Stay down. She looked at him with tears in her eyes. You're gonna die because of me. Luke stared at her for one painful second. You were always worth it. Emily's breath caught. Outside, Victor shouted calmly. Last chance, Emily. Luke suddenly noticed something near the fireplace. An old trapdoor. He pulled it open quickly. A storm shelter. Emily looked shocked. You knew about this? My father built this place for emergencies. More gunfire blasted through the cabin. Luke grabbed her hand. Go! They climbed down into the dark shelter just as bullets shattered the windows above them. Luke slammed the trapdoor shut. Darkness surrounded them, except for one dim lantern hanging on the wall. Emily's breathing shook violently. Luke moved closer carefully. You okay? She suddenly wrapped her arms around him tightly. Luke froze. Emily buried her face against his chest, trembling. I thought I lost you. Luke slowly held her back. For a moment, the chaos above disappeared. No guns, no fear, just them. Emily pulled away slightly and looked into his eyes. I never stopped loving you. Luke's entire expression changed. Emily, she kissed him before he could finish. Desperate, emotional, real. Luke kissed her back hard, holding her like he never wanted to let go again. Then footsteps echoed above them. Both froze instantly. Victor's voice came through the floorboards. You can hide for a few minutes, but not forever. Emily panicked again. He'll find us. Luke looked around the shelter quickly. Then he noticed another door at the far end. He opened it slowly. A hidden tunnel stretched into darkness beneath the desert. Emily stared in disbelief. This place is insane. Luke grabbed a lantern and smirked faintly. My father was paranoid. Sound of the cabin being torn apart echoed above them. Luke took Emily's hand again. Come on. They hurried through the tunnel as dirt crumbled around them. After several exhausting minutes, they finally emerged behind a rocky canyon far from the cabin. Rain still poured from the sky. Emily looked back toward the distant cabin fire glowing in the darkness. He's never going to stop hunting us. Luke turned toward her slowly. Then he reached into a jacket and pulled out a small flash drive. Emily's eyes widened. The files. Luke nodded. I grabbed them before we escaped. Emily stared at him in shock. You risked your life for that? Luke stepped closer. I risked my life for you. The rain slowly softened around them. Emily touched his face gently. What do we do now? Luke looked toward the endless desert horizon. His jaw hardened. We finished this. Behind them, Flames consumed the cabin, while Victor watched in the distance with cold, furious eyes. And deep in the desert night, the cowboy who once lost the woman he loved was finally ready to burn the entire world to get her freedom back.